There's this scene from the movie Fight Club where Tyler Durden and the narrator are driving along this motorway, and for some strange reason, every now and then Tyler lets go of the wheel. Every time this happens, the narrator frantically tries to grab the wheel to make sure it's steered in the right direction and doesn't crash. However, there's this one moment where Tyler lets go of the wheel and he looks to the narrator and he says, "Stop trying to control everything and just let go." And immediately what happens is the car veers off the side of the motorway and unfortunately crashes into a tree. Now, this sets the car on fire and injures both of them, and I'm not suggesting that you crash your life into a tree, but this scene stood out a lot for me, and here's why. It made me realise how addicted I was to certainty, and the way in which I would define certainty is the conviction that this future thing, whatever it may be, is in safe hands. The thing is with certainty though is it's very seductive. It makes us think that we are in control, whether it be our relationships, whether it be our time, whether it be our money. However, every now and then life decides to throw us a curveball. Now, it could be the most trivial of things. For example, maybe you had plans scheduled with someone and then they cancelled for whatever reason. But then there's also the more severe cases, like the loss of a job or a loss of a loved one close to you. And whenever life does throw us one of these curveballs, one of these unforeseen events, we usually tend to default to spiraling because we've gone from a predictable, safe environment to a chasm of unpredictability, of uncertainty. Whatever the situation of uncertainty may be, our immediate instinct is to run away from it, to try and escape it, to try and cling on to something more safe, to something more certain. But the paradoxical thing here, and the most ironic thing here, is I don't know about you, but the most transformational times of my life have come out of the other side of moments of uncertainty, of times of uncertainty. Let me take you all the way to Thailand. Now, the reason why I've picked Thailand is because I lived there not too long ago. Anyways, me and my friend, we were living in this bungalow on this weed farm. It's a long story and maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but we were living on this bungalow and what happened is the landlord needed us to pay rent for this month. And basically, earlier in the month, some unforeseen events had led to my income being shut off completely. So I had just enough, me and my friend had just enough to pay for this rent. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. I remember we paid for the rent and I went into my bungalow to see how much money I had left. I sat on the floor and I opened my wallet and I saw that I had 1,000 baht. Now, I don't know where you're from, but in the UK, 1,000 baht is about £10, which ended up being about around 4 days worth of food. So I remember sitting there thinking, oh my god, I've only got 4 days worth of food and I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. But as I was sat there on the floor contemplating what exactly to do, I remember opening my phone and finding a video from Greg Plitt. Now, if you don't know who Greg Plitt is, he was a fitness influencer. Rest in peace to him. Unfortunately, he died. But he had this video. I can't remember the title of this video, but the theme and the main quote from this video was, "Your greatest hour comes right after your worst hour of despair." And he said the reason why is because all of your accolades, all the things that you hold on to, whether it be your looks, your money, your status, whatever it may be, your skills, your talents, the way in which you see yourself, all of those things kind of dissipate in those moments when everything seemingly crumbles around you. The ego kind of dissolves temporarily and you're left with none other than yourself to confront perhaps the truths that you've maybe avoiding. It's also a big test to your character of whether or not you are who you say you are, because it's very easy, when everything's going really well, it's very easy to do the thing. When everything is not going so well and when everything's falling apart, do you stay true to the mission? Do you stay true to the cause? So whether or not you're stranded on the other side of the world or a simple flight has just been delayed, I encourage you to ask yourself this next time life throws you a curveball that you didn't quite want, which is, what is this trying to teach me? I think this is why Tyler said what he said to the narrator, because it's only when you lose the mask, when you lose the illusion of control over your environment, your friends, your career, whatever it may be, it's only when you lose that illusion you can finally see clearly, you can finally test your resolve, whether or not you are actually doing the right thing or not. But my main interpretation of this is to not just take your life and go and crash it into a tree, but whatever car you're driving on whatever road, perhaps be a bit more flexible with the destination, even if you don't know exactly where it's going to go. Because it's only in the unknown, it's only in the caves you fear to enter where you find the treasure. It's never in the creatures of comfort, it's never in the certain, in the familiar. And sometimes life will throw you things that are just unexpected, things outside of your control, and they will shake you quite a bit. but you just have to embrace it, let go of where it's going to lead you, and just trust that everything will work out as long as you do what feels right and take action in that exact moment of time. And that's why with these videos, I'm not trying to tell you or give you the answers, just offer my interpretation, because like you, I also hate uncertainty. I also hate the idea of surrendering to the unknown, but it's the only way in which you can get what you want. At least that's what I believe in. But anyways, that's all for today's video, and if you're in a tricky spot, if you're in the unfamiliar, I encourage you to just try and loosen your grip a bit and be open to what may happen, because it's only in the unknown in which you truly grow. So thank you again for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to like and maybe even subscribe. If you don't know who I am, by the way, my name is Jay Sachanya, and I've called this channel JAI, which is meant to be J.AI, but YouTube won't let me put a dot in the name for whatever reason. But the whole idea is I'm going to make an AI version of myself, and the only way I can do that is if I share my philosophies, my beliefs, my way of thinking. So if you like this style of content, stay tuned, and thanks again for watching.